Hey, how's everybody today? This is Tech Sergeant T. Uh, Thinking today about my career. It's been a long one, obviously. I'm really looking forward to my birthday this year. I don't know if it's because it's another decade or the fact that I'm going to be 80 years old and I'm still functioning pretty well. As a matter of fact, having my physical tomorrow, the annual physical, try to keep up with those. And I guess I'll find out whether or not I'm really in as good a shape as I think I am. But so far, so good. It got me thinking about jobs the way it used to be. You know, back in the day, people typically worked their whole lives for one company. My dad worked for a local mining company here, Kennecott Copper, one of the largest copper mines in the world. He worked there probably in excess of 30 years. It's quite a while. It's kind of same with my brother. He went to work, my younger brother. I'm the oldest, so if I mention my siblings, it's because they're all, you can assume they're all younger. He worked there, I think, at least 40 years in the mining industry. And that's kind of how it used to be. You know, you graduate high school. Because we had the draft, you'd spend a couple of years in the Army. And then you'd find a job. And you'd stay with that job to your mid-60s, maybe a little longer, and then retire. Usually with a pretty good retirement. Gave you some real stability. I didn't do that. I graduated from high school and went immediately into the Air Force with the intent of it being a 20-year career. That's typically the way the military works. You get 20 years or 30 years. As an enlisted man, you can't do any more than 30. But it didn't work out. I spent 14 years with the Air Force, and well, some issues, nothing really bad. I just disagreed with where they wanted me to be assigned and how long they wanted me to stay. And I had a career field that didn't have any options. It was that or nothing. So I chose nothing. We came back here to Utah. I got a job with an aerospace company. I didn't take the advice of the people that I worked with in the Air Force that said you probably should never go to work for aerospace. They have a tendency to lay off a lot. And that turned out to be the case. 14 years later, I got laid off. My wife was working there, and she got laid off the same day. So we were both unemployed at the same time. It made it a little tough. So I ended up working for the Department of the Army in California for a year before I got a job back here at home. And it was a good job. It was a process control company, and they had a small lab. It was a single-man operation, which I ran for several years and managed to grow it to the point where we had 3 or 4 employees. And after 14 years, or almost 15 years, I bought that portion of the company, that calibration laboratory. Worked it for 20 years with some partners, so as a partial owner. But it got to be kind of rough. When you're self-employed, as some of you might know, you don't get vacation and you don't get sick time. If you're not working, you're basically not making any money. So I left and went to work for this company I'm at now. I've been here just over 2 years, and it's been a good job. I've really enjoyed it. I guess I'm just lucky that I'm still able to keep up and to do the job. I know there's probably people out there saying, well, why haven't you retired? Well, that thought's occurred to me a couple of times. It's just a while back. I don't know if it's because of my 80th birthday or just getting tired. The word retirement actually flashed through my mind for the first time ever. I started thinking about it. It'd probably be at least a year before I could retire. I make enough to, keep up with the bills and, the car payment and utilities, rent and all those sort of things. But moving around like I have in jobs, it's kind of impeded my ability to get a retirement from any one company or make enough money to, put aside to have a nest egg. And I have to take the majority of the responsibility for that. So if I'm going to give some advice, they say that old people have a tendency to give unsolicited advice. Well, this is mine. Plan for your retirement. Just a little bit of money compounded can go a long ways towards giving you some independence when you get older and you can retire. We had a guy at Hercules. Oh my goodness. That's the aerospace company I worked for. He actually started working for the company when he was 14 years old, mowing lawns in the company housing area. He turned 18 and he went and did his 2 years of military service, came back and went to work for them until the 90s. So that's probably 40 or 50 years that he worked for that single company, and probably had a pretty good retirement by the time he did decide to leave. That would be nice, wouldn't it? People don't do that much anymore. Seems like, changing jobs frequently. Even my own kids have changed jobs like that frequently. There's many reasons for it. Maybe, you get laid off or RIFT, reduction in force, or maybe you want a different kind of career field or a better paying job. There's a lot of reasons to leave companies and move on, and they seem to not be as afraid of it. It was just kind of like in the previous generation of my generation, that's just what you did. You got out of school, went to job, got married, had a family, retired. And that was about it. Now, a lot of people, they see things differently. We've got a lot of these internet millionaires now, it seems like. And it seems like the easy way, but I bet they still have to work pretty hard. They've got to have the skills and the education and the intestinal fortitude, as it were, to take a chance on themselves and what technology they've developed. But it is a big change from the way it wasn't back in my day. There's just some thoughts that I had on it, and we'll see what happens with the remainder of this year. But I am going to have a big party. I've decided that. I need to really celebrate this while I'm still vertical, I guess. Well, have a good day. Think about that. Look at your own life and the directions that you have. And have a plan. Make sure you know what you want. And this is Tech Sergeant T saying, have a good day. Thanks.